We're gonna see you in a bit, but I'm gonna have the fabulous Seth Rudetsky come out here and talk to one of his good friends, Tony Award-winning Santino Fontana.
Oh. Have you guys seen Cats in New York?
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Santino was up for Cats, but he couldn't sing or dance.
It would have
That's the hell out of that right
and I'm allergic, so it would have been weird.
Hi, okay, so first of all, I know probably everybody asks, but who's from the farthest away here that came to this? Who's from like far, far away?
New Jersey. New York.
Shut up.
Oh, yeah, well, East Coast, that's where we came
You
from.
didn't come here from New Jersey
Yeah.
for this, did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
And New York? Florida?
North Carolina.
Okay, now you guys, I know that most of you are probably here to see Alice Newell. Is anybody actually a fan of Santino in the house? I want to ask a couple questions, and then also, of course, a bunch of questions in the house. But no joke, when I first saw Santino, he was in Importance of Being Earnest, and I almost passed out from how brand new was. I'd never seen him before, and I was like, he's such a crazy, brilliant actor. And it wasn't until like 2 years later, I got like the cast album, The Fantastics. I happened to see it, and I'm like, he's also a singer. He pissed me the F off. So I'm really confused. So my question is, Santino, did you grow up as a singer first, or were you one of those Barbra Streisand? I speak on pitch. I don't know I can sing.
I wouldn't say I was one of those Barbra Streisand anything, but no, I was an actor. I wanted to be, I loved movies and music. I grew up in a really small town in Washington State after living in California for a brief time as a kid. And then I loved movies, and you know, you couldn't be in a movie in my hometown, so you did the school play. And then I just did those, and then eventually music was involved, but I never took it that seriously. I didn't take any of it that seriously.
Just when you're in sports, I'll tell you.
I played baseball through high school, yeah.
Not interested.
I was just talking about my baseball coach, senior year, he saw this whole play, and he said, listen, I was like, you're really good at baseball. You're better at that. And it was the first, like, okay, he sees, okay, yeah, he's probably right.
That's a compliment. Let me ask you something. I know we see like movies. I remember seeing you tap dance in My Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and was it great that movie? Is that because you liked? Please say Gene Kelly, not Fred Astaire. Gene Kelly so good.
Well, my grandfather, who babysat me a lot, yes, he loved, his way of babysitting was to go to Blockbuster, which for children was like Netflix for store. He would rent all the movies that he loved. And he had a really wide-ranging taste, which was great for me. So we would watch Bridge of the River Kwai and The Apartment, which was so inappropriate, and Grapes of Wine and Roses, and then also Singing in the Rain and American in Paris. So I loved Gene Kelly, but I also loved Sam Davis Jr. He was kind of the guy. He did all those like variety. There was all these performances, you know. And so I would literally go from like baseball practice to tap practice to rehearsal for the play, back to baseball. Yeah, it was weird.
Speaking of Sammy Davis Jr. in Vegas, I'm just remembering the story right now. Apparently, Sammy Davis Jr., I guess, would have his lyrics sometimes Chiron. I mean, he was doing a show with Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra took out the Chiron lyrics and instead was running a porn movie. So Sammy Davis Jr. Anyway, it's a good idea for later. So how did you get tap lessons in a small town in Washington? Who the hell was the
We have dance classes everywhere, yeah. I mean, there was a place called the Dance Class, you know, once a week. Patty White, great teacher, who then has since seen me. She saw me in Hello Dolly, she came and saw me in Tootsie. Yeah, they're great.
Okay, so you obviously moved to New York. You got your, how'd you get your equity card? I was going out.
I was at the Guthrie, so I went to school in Minneapolis, and from Minnesota, the Midwest. One person. Yeah,
that's a great.
Oh, yeah, you betcha. So I went to school in Minneapolis at the Guthrie Theater's after training program where it's this big, large, thing to know, it's so early. A large regional theater. And after I graduated, I was a company member there. So I did a bunch of plays, Death of a Salesman, As You Like It,
Why did
Christmas
you
Carol.
Why did you stay there?
I was told by, you remember, okay, so this great casting director named Rosemary Tischler, she came and met all the students. Aya Cash was in my class and was just nominated for a Giant. She's also on, The Boys, and she's about to be in the sequel. But she said, get your sea legs here if you can. If you can work a while here. So I did it, and I was in a bunch of shows in Minneapolis. That's where I got my equity card. And then when I moved to New York, I knew all of these people I had already worked with.
Oh, because it's regional theater, so the big stars would come out.
Yeah, I mean, Sterling K. Brown was there, and his wife, not wife at the time, but Ryan Bethea was in a play with me at the Guthrie. So when I got to New York, I was able to, they helped me. They were able to help me.
It's always great to move to New York with some kind of connections. Yes. By the way, Santino and I are very good friends with Andrea Martin, two-time Tony winner. You mentioned Rosemary Tischler. Rosemary, this casting director, said this comment that Andrea and I always use, which is so devastating. Because Rosemary was still, people on that side of the desk are a little more jaded. And this director was like desperate to have a star. I'm like, what's going to happen if our show doesn't have a star? And Rosemary said, the curtain will go up and someone will be there. But Andrea and I quote it all the time. It's just like, don't worry about it. Okay, so you moved to New York, you get your equity card. So I asked Santino if we could talk about this really sensitive subject that happened to him because I think it's really interesting. Pattern components are like, being on Broadway, you're an athlete. It is true, it's physical being on Broadway, and because things are athletic, it's dangerous. And Santino had this accident happen to him that I think is fascinating because of how scary Broadway can be, but also the courage to kind of keep going forward when you don't know what the end result will be. So would you mind talking about your experience?
Yeah, I was in Brighton Beach Memoirs on Broadway for...
What are you sharing about?
Neil Simon.
It's worse than one of you.
I didn't know that part yet. I've forgotten that. It was a long time ago. You guys probably weren't born. So Laurie Metcalf was in it, Jessica Heck, Noah Robb, great cast, Dennis Boutsicaris. And it was very well received, and then we closed in a week. And I thought, oh my God, what's going to happen? And then, amazingly, both Jess Heck and I got jobs in A View from the Bridge, which was also starting rehearsals like weeks after. So I thought, well, that's incredible. I went from one show to the next in weeks. And I was playing Rodolfo, a character who gets in a fight in a couple of scenes. And in this one scene, something went wrong, and I hit my head on a table on stage. I continued doing the show. I tried to downplay that anything was wrong. It turned out I had a contusion on my brain the size of a baseball. The good thing is I'm fine now.
He is fine now.
But at the time it was terrifying, and I had to leave the show and go through cognitive therapy, like stroke patients. And
what did they say about your memory?
They said there was no guarantee that my memory would come back. So, and I struggled to get to the alphabet, which was terrifying. And but again, I just kept working. And my reps at the time were like, you're gonna be fine. You're young, it's gonna come back. And thank God it did. And I just had to make the decision, do I, stay in this and fight it out, or do I leave? And I was like, fuck no, I'm staying. I'm gonna fight this out. And I did. That was it.
Just tell the one thing that I'm obsessed with because I'm so ADD, and even when I'm doing one thing, I really have to have work.
No, I'm sure they can't tell at all.
Okay, turn this mic off. So just tell everybody what you had to do for at least a week in a dark room.
It was 3 weeks. I had to be in a dark room for 3 weeks without using my eyes because it would trigger migraines and it would slow down and risk the recovery of my brain. So.
Can you imagine you have no... Now wait, when you sit down and use your eyes, were you able to at least listen to 40 podcasts at the same time like I do?
You could, but here's the problem. 30 minutes into listening to music or story or anything, I would start getting a headache. So I have to stop.
Because your brain's like a muscle, it's great. Yeah. So you just had 3 weeks, how are you...
I had great friends. Noah Robbins came and brought me meals. Kelly McCreary came and brought me meals. Brooke Bloom, my ex at the time. I had a lot of people who, took care of me.
The one thing I would recommend is listening to, I don't think this is the Barbara Streisand's book, but it's so unbearably slow. She's fucking like this. So I actually would have really had to do it. I really have to listen to it at 1.7. And if you listen to Barbara, you have to speed to 1.7 at least, and then you'll be back to 1.7. All right, so Santa, so you got your memory back, and then When you moved to New York, were you one of those that better not try for a musical because then people think, unfortunately, I'm a bad actor, which is what happened when you get known as a musical theater star?
It was the opposite in the sense that I had just played Hamlet at the Guthrie, and I came to New York, and I'd done nothing but plays. I'd never been in a musical professionally. And Mel Marvin, who's a great composer, who did the music for Hamlet, said, "Do you want to sing in New York?" Because he knew I could sing. And I was like, maybe I just want to do something different. That's kind of I always just want to do something different, which is probably not great advice for someone building a career, but
Or someone married. Go on.
Yeah. So I said, and they were doing the Fantastics off Broadway on 50th and Broadway. They were bringing it back above the Duane Reade. And the Snapple Theater.
Snapple Theater. I don't know which sounds worse, above the Duane Reade or the Snapple
They're
Theater.
both not great. But Tom Jones, not the Welsh pop star, the writer who wrote the Fantastics, he knew Mel Marvin, and he said, "You should audition for him." And I got an audition that way, and that was my first job. So I did sing for the first time in a professional show in New York. That was the first.
Through acting.
And then I went back to plays. Yeah, I wanted to get back to
One
plays.
of the rare people that could go back and forth, because who was it just talking to with a great... The point is, if you have a great voice, you're often considered not a good actor. But if you have a horrible voice, you're like, she acts the shit out of that song. I'm like, no, she actually just sings it badly. Anyway,
There's a show that will remain nameless where I was like, Seth, have you seen X show? And it was like, she's not a singer.
it drives me crazy that I don't understand why you're bad. So yeah, I mean, Elaine Church is the exception. Okay, so first of all, before I ask more questions, I'm obsessed. Anybody have any questions? Raise your hand if you have a feeling present. Yes, sir. Glasses.
So for you,
Nice placement.
I have a compliment and then a question. You were great in Bunheads.
Me?
Bunheads.
Oh, thank you so much.
And did Amy Sherman Palladino give you those lines, or did you kind of find your way?
First of all, I'm known as the closer. I've done every episode that's gotten the show canceled. The final episode of Bunheads, final episode of Captain Griffin, the D-List, final season of Will and Grace. So that is kind of my signature, is ruining the show. Second of all, Amy was a big fan. There's Santino Fontana. This is where, as bad as Serious XM is, just in terms of, I don't get to choose my own music, which is shocking. People always think I do. I don't choose my own music, and basically the pay is take a coach seat on an airplane and deduct $400. That's how much I make. But the point is, people listen to me all over the country, and Amy was a fan of mine from the radio, so she was talking to Sutton, and I knew Sutton, and she was just saying I'm a fan of Seth, so they wrote me that role for the final season as Sutton's like sassy accompanist, and I think she like let me out of line, like you're a Mozzing or something like that. And Amy's just great. She just came to my New Year's party. She's such a super lover of musical theater. And Santino, I feel like weren't you on the
Maisel, yeah, she came to Tootsie twice.
Yeah.
And I gave her mother a tour.
Her mother's a dancer.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, and then I was in Maisel. She's great.
She absolutely loves musical theater, so hopefully she'll cast me on E12, even though I think I already got that
Canceled.
I know, because I was thinking on. Wait, I have one more just amazing story. I know this is really, but Santino, this is so up your alley. So speaking of shows, Bill Weil reached out to me and said, hey, you should get on Elspeth. There's an audition for a sassy piano player. And I said, oh, let me get an audition. I was like, oh, my agent hasn't sent me out in so long. I'm like, but I don't know. It's like, I could have sent me out so long. I'll just text him. So I said, hey, Richard, this is an audition for Elspeth. Can you get me in? You really want me to go Seth? Abrams Artists closed 5 years ago. I retired and I live in Lisbon. So I didn't know my own agency closed. Okay, sorry, but I know you had a question. Go.
You saw you at Byron's Jazz Cafe.
You saw?
Oh, at Myron's, at the Smith Center. And, you know, I almost did. Thank you. I loved coming. I've performed there now a couple times, and I was gonna do a show there this weekend. I was like, maybe I can squeeze in a show after the show.
Santino's known as a whore. Go on.
But I was just working in Europe, and so I flew in from Serbia, so I don't know where I am. And my wife was like, Santino, if you're gonna be at Myron's Jazz and Cabaret place, you're gonna wish you were dead. And you're not gonna do. So I was like, I'll come back. And Myron said, I'll come back. So come back later.
Oh yeah, I love Myron. Thank you so kind. Anybody else? Yes, lady in like 5 rows back, and I'll ask you next.
Hi, so first off, I'm sorry I keep harassing you on Instagram.
I don't even know that you are.
Yeah.
Let that go. I'm terrible with social media.
Okay, well my question is, so you've done your film, TV, and then audiobooks, which is how I've met you.
Yeah, audiobooks.
So, but my question is, which is you think is the most difficult to, or most challenging
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, the most gratifying and which is the most challenging?
So she was saying that Santino's done film, television, Broadway, and audiobooks. I'd say different level career-wise, basically the point he's good at. But the point is she's saying, which is the most difficult?
We're friends.
Yeah, this is our relationship. Santino and I are like Nina's Calvin.
It's fine.
This Calvin calls me the brother she never wanted.
I just saw him today and I was like, oh, so you dressed up.
I mean, can you shut up? People don't know this in these games. But she says Santino does all these things. Which is the most gratifying, also which is the most difficult?
You know, they're all challenging. Like I said, I've always wanted to just keep challenging myself and do different things. I love that. I love the newness of it.
He's also a composer.
Yeah, right. And also at concerts, I love just getting to bounce around, which is kind of why I'm an actor. I feel like I've been avoiding an identity my whole life. And it kind of lets me just keep doing that. I like them all. They're all challenging in different ways. You know, audiobooks, which I got into randomly during when I was in Cinderella. You're alone in that padded room, and there's a reason. So it can drive you nuts. I did the Stephen King audiobook, The Institute, during Tootsie, so I would go in the morning, which was a terrible idea. But I loved doing it, and I could work for like 4 hours doing the book, and it took me a month and a half, I want to say. And 100 characters or something like that. So that has its own challenges. Television and film has its own challenges because you're not in control of the final product or the editing or what you're really going to do the next day. I'm doing a movie right now in Reading, Pennsylvania with Cynthia Nixon and Allison Pill and Patty LaPone and Matthew Broderick and Brooks. Ashmansky, an amazing cast. And I just got an email backstage saying, we're rewriting the end of the movie so you'll have new pages tomorrow. So that's a whole other challenge. I mean, on stage, it's probably the most gratifying because you're all in the room together when you build the thing. So you all know what you're doing. And it's probably the most gratifying to do it from beginning to end every night. It's also really hard.
One turn is supposed to move you begin with the dead stage.
Yeah, but you have no idea. I did a movie where the director called, it didn't come out for 2 years, which is never a good sign. And the director said, you're not going to recognize the story. And I said, I'm sorry? And he said, we had to rewrite the movie in editing, so everything's in a different order. I'm not telling you the name of that one.
IMDb people. One next question. Was it you? Okay, I'm going to no, I think it was you first, and I'll ask you. I can't see if you're one or not. Oh, yes, you are. Hi. Oh, microphone time.
My name is Natalie, and I had 2 questions. So my first question is, what is your dream role?
Well,
What is your dream role?
Oh, that's so nice. I would love to do George Song again. I did George Song Trilogy once, and it was like the most amazing experience of my life. It's so brilliantly written. So George Song Trilogy, again, like, obsessed with it.
You know, I'm going to disappoint you, and I'm sorry. I don't have any dream roles because, here's why. I used to. And so much about being an actor is having your heart broken because you want a job so bad and you don't get it, heartbroken. You want a job so bad that you get it and it's great and then it ends, heartbreak. You want a job so bad, you get it and it's terrible, heartbreak. And often we're asked on stage to play a character who has to go through heartbreak, right? I mean, those are the best parts. So at a certain point I was like, I'm not going to have a list anymore because you could just see as I got older, like, oh, I never got to do that. I never got to do that. And I was like, I'm going to stop that. Instead of a dream role, I would say there are like experiences. I almost got to play Pal Joey opposite Christine Baranski at the Kennedy Center way back a long time ago. And then it got canceled 2 weeks before we went into rehearsal. Heartbreak, right? I was like, oh. And I realized I don't need to play Pal Joey, but I want to play someone like. And then years later, I got to be in something called Get It From You Wholesale in New York a couple years ago. Yeah! Wow, representing. Austin Stage Company, off Broadway. Yeah! Album. But I got to play an asshole who was able to charm people at a certain point, and then, it's kind of like that. Same thing, I was up for, you get the idea. Yeah, so yes.
So basically, no specific dream role, but you just want to play a lot of characters. What's your second question?
My second question is, have you ever seen Marilyn You Roll Along?
Of course I have. I was in a high school production of it at Richland High School.
High school production of it right now.
Are you married?
Yes, we're
No, are you married? Wait, parents are married. Wait, you're playing Mary.
This is Mary, and our director is right over there in the corner.
Oh, wow.
Along with some of our other cats.
Okay, hold on. Before you do anything, let me
It's
just
very ambitious for
It
high
is.
school. Congrats.
When I was with, I had Daniel Radcliffe and Lindsay and Jonathan Groff on the show. And I don't know if you saw this, but I made him to, of course you're not serious, nobody's ready. But I made them all switch roles. You should do that. They almost passed out after literally. What about the book? About the book? Anyway, try it. It was so much fun. Switch roles, see what happens. Okay, we have a lady that had a question right in front. Wait, there? I think it was that. The hell you want? There we go. We're all blinded by the light.
Hi, Santino.
Hello.
Hi, so I'm a huge fan. I have to say we listen to you at my house every day, listening to Love is an Open Door.
Yes.
And I would just love to hear something about your experience with Frozen.
I'm happy to tell you. So, you want to do that?
Yes.
Hold on.
We were going to make you do a song again. This may be a perfect opportunity to team
Hold
up.
on. So, I'm in Cinderella, and I get a call from my agent, who had not retired yet, and got an audition for a movie. It's an animated feature. It's a musical, and I was like, oh wow, great. Send me the script. No script. And I said, okay, what's the character? I'm like, well, we don't know that much. We think he's a prince. We think he's the love interest. We think he's the villain. And we think he's funny. And we think he's conceited. And come in with a song. And so I had to choose a song, which luckily the song I chose, I think really got me the job, to be honest. But what people don't know is it's 5 days of work over 2.5 years. And one entire day of work was just noises. An entire day was, that was an entire day. So it's 4 days of work, right? I never read the script. No, I sang the song with Kristen, but otherwise we're all alone. And so I liken to being in Frozen to being a sperm donor to a child who becomes president. I was there at the beginning. I'm very proud of its success, but I had very little to do with it.
That is so specific. Hold on. Do we have time for the song? No, I feel like we're doing it. Hold on. We have one more burning question.
I can do my audition. So
Yes,
I
absolutely.
can-
Yeah.
Yes.
So I just want to say, I'm such a fan of both of you, and I think something that's really incredible, Santino, about your repertoire is that yes, you have Frozen, but you also have the ex-girlfriend you love, and he shows I love God Bless Mr. Rosewater.
Oh, Skylar's here too, yeah.
Yes, of course. And I want to talk about something niche to my own isolation.
She wants to talk about something niche, is what she's saying.
Because you just did Terrytown, and we actually did Terrytown at our company last year.
Oh, wow.
And I love that show. So I just didn't know if you could speak to like the difference in experience of working on something a little larger versus something like that, which is very up and coming or kind of underrated.
Sure, she was asking about, there's a musical called Terrytown, which is a retelling. Oh, wow. Well done. You should have me come back for a master class. We should talk about that. The Terrytown is a musical that is the retelling of the, what's his name? Ichabod Crane story.
Oh.
And it takes place in Terrytown, which is where it's all based. And Chris Rodriguez, our pal, Andy Mientis, another really good friend of mine. Oh, we gotta take a picture. She has a t-shirt that says, I love Andy Mientis. He was also in Smash. He's married to Michael Arden, who's a friend. Anyway, it was a one-night concert in Terrytown, really stripped down. I love doing that, in the same way of balancing big stuff, small stuff, and very dark, by the way. Yeah.
Just so everyone knows, we do have a line over here for questions, so everyone can hear you.
Wow, look at that. Should we do the audition song while they're lining up if they are?
Yes.
We have time?
Okay, we have time for the song. We just told them to maybe go to the next person. So Santino, this is his audition for Frozen.
This was my audition. So they said all those things, but we don't know all things we don't know. And I said, so with Liberties, we got it.
I want to just have someone videotape it. Oh God. You heard me. Here.
This is why I'm bad at social media. I didn't even know you were harassing me. Now I have something to look forward to. I'm sorry. It's just.
I'll just keep harassing you.
Please. And is it harassment if the person's not harassed? It's like a tree that falls in the woods. Okay.
Wait, this is so awful, but in 30 Rock, Jakey Pass is trying to get pregnant, and she basically sports herself on Kenneth, and she says, it's not rape if neither person wants it. It's so horrible.
It's too dark. Cut that. Cut that.
We're in the film.
So this was my audition song. So all those things. We think he's this. We think he's that. We think he's conceited. We think he's funny. We think he's a prince. So liberties to Stephen Sondheim's lyric and Leonard Bernstein's score. I said, I am pretty, oh so pretty.